Right then guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys like the setup. I thought I'd show you a few extra preview shots. So the plan is to have 4 seats here and create like the show I always spoke about for the stream platform where we have, we can have one guest on plus me. We can have chats about different topics, but we can also get, let's say, I got the swivel chairs as well so you can turn to each guest. Otherwise, you're doing that shit on a sofa, it hurts your neck. And I can spin and look at the view, which is very nice. But imagine having 4 guests, let's say 4 guys or 3 guys from the fitness industry plus me, and we can just talk about the men's fitness industry. We can dive into a topic, almost like round table discussions, and then film like a project that's related to the fitness industry and include it like halfway through the show. So we're having an interview, whatever, and I'm like, funny you mentioned that. That actually leads us into how Top Gear used to do it. I think that's going to be incredible to jump into stuff like that. So, I mean, nobody's ever done that. I don't think anybody can afford it. I don't think they can do that level of production because everyone's full of shit. So, we're going to do it. We're going to pull it off, and you guys are going to love it. I cannot wait. But for the reason for this video, guys, is I want to talk about this place, London, okay? I want to talk about London, I want to talk about New York, I want to talk about all these amazing places around the world that are currently getting a bad rap. I cannot go on social media at the moment without somebody saying that the UK is done, the US is done, get out while you can, like why would you live here? Look, it's wet, it's cold, it's windy. These are things that I celebrate, so I don't know whether people have got like negative viewpoints on the world and stuff like that, but I love it. I honestly think that, not all the time, if it was all the time it would get on my nerves. You know, you've got summer that comes around so it's fine, but I actually like this. I actually like the fact that you can be in your house warm with a nice cup of coffee doing a video with you boys. But like, I did a school call on this morning and we're currently running a free trial on school. You get 7 days. So if you want to sign up, I'll put the link below. But we did a school call this morning for 3.5 hours. And I was talking about this exact topic with the boys, and here's the problem for me. It's a mindset problem, okay? Well, there's 2 problems here. Number 1, it's a mindset, and then number 2, it's about the melting pots. So for me, everybody says I need to get out of the UK, I need to go somewhere else. Okay, why? Because I don't think the problem is the UK, I don't think the problem is the US, I think the problem is you. Because my mindset in the rain, in the cold, whatever is amazing. I'm thinking, okay, what's next? What can we work on? I'm buzzing. And when I'm on holiday, let's say, with the beach, with the sun and whatnot, I'm in rest mode. I want to relax. So then when you ask these people, why do you want to leave? Why do you want to get out? They always say a better quality of lifestyle. You go, how? And one of the lads actually discussed this with me today. He had the exact same discussion. And, you say to these people, how? How is it better lifestyle? And they're like, the sun, I can actually afford a house over there. Women come easy. I can literally go out to Thailand and sleep with 400 women. And you look at it and you go, that's quite weak. In my opinion, that's weak-minded. I don't know what you guys think, but in my opinion, that's weak-minded. I think here's what you're going to do. You're going to end up going to somewhere like Thailand. You're going to end up sitting on the beach and you're going to go, oh, it's sunny, it's amazing. I'm so glad I'm here. Look at the waves and whatnot. And some guy from Stoke, nothing wrong with Stoke, but some guy from Stoke is going to come and sit next to you. And he's going to start talking to you about Iman Gadzhi courses and his favorite Andrew Tate video. I personally don't want that. I don't know what you guys want in life, but I personally don't want that. And then he's going to start talking about how, do you want to do some drugs? Do you want to just lie here and just do some shrooms? And it's going to be like, oh, wait, hang on a minute. Am I in the right place here? Am I surrounded by winners? I mean, I could move out the way and you can see like 3 or 4 of the biggest banks in the world right behind me with some of the highest earning people in the world that are working in there right now. That's the environment I'd like to be in. And people say, oh, but London's expensive, oh, but it's high taxes and shit like that. Yeah, but that's the premium that you're paying to be in one of the best places in the world. That it just is what it is. There's no getting around it. There's no escaping it. You have to pay those costs. And people will say things like, oh yeah, but the most beautiful women in the world are in Colombia. They're not. They're here. They're here. Once you live here, you realize. You start strolling around. I've always said this to you guys. You stroll around and you will see the most beautiful women in the world just walking around West London, for example, and you start chatting. What do you do? I'm Egyptian, I'm a model, and I came over here 3 years ago, I got a contract. They don't stay in their home countries. Oh, the most beautiful women in the world are Swedish. Okay, fine. But the most beautiful Swedish women live in New York, London, etc. They don't live in Sweden still. So here's the point. I don't like this isn't about women. I don't want to go, okay, here's why you should live. That's meaningless. It's a silly argument and stuff like that. It's a very low level discussion, but I'm just using it as a point. But guys will say that. Guys will say, I've got to move to this region because the best of the best move to the melting pots. And what you guys are doing is you're looking silly because you're flying out to places like, oh, I'm going to go and live in Colombia. I'm going to go and live in Thailand. I'm going to go and live in wherever. But the people that are left in these places are the people that couldn't leave. You end up going out there and you end up sleeping with all these women in Thailand. Brilliant. But they're all like sixes because the sevens, eights, nines, and tens have left, or they're paired off with the best guys from that area. So everyone's technically laughing at you. People from your home country are a little bit like, that's weird. He had to go out there to find a woman. And then number two, you got the other side of the coin where the locals are almost looking at you like, oh, what? He thought he could come in and conquer and whatnot. It doesn't matter where you are. If your mindset is that of a loser, you're still a loser. Like, it's not going to change, is it? If you can't do it at the top level, if you can't do it as the top dog, and you can't do it in a city like this, in London, New York, or something like that, with the highest level of competition, or Tokyo, or whatever, with killers everywhere. Like, I go in my gym and everybody's got a notepad. We didn't get that whole second day of the month, the gym's going to be the gym's always busy. It's just always busy with winners. You don't pay £230 a month to be a loser. The people in there are killers. You're surrounded by that every single day. If you don't up your game and operate on a certain level, you just get eaten alive. And I like that. I always use the example. You guys in America might not have had the same thing. I had Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3 PE, so physical education. What do you call it in America? Is it physical education? Physical ed? I don't know. But anyway, when you're playing sports, stuff like that with the gym teacher, gym, I guess that's what it is, gym. And we had Group 1, which was like the athletes, the guys that were playing in the top teams and stuff like that. We had Group 2, which was guys that had potential but just never really played sport. They didn't really care. They were good, but they'd like smoke cigarettes and they were good at football, but they also wore like flared jeans and they couldn't run properly and they didn't take it seriously. And then it was like, they'd never show up with kit, which was weird. And then you had Group 3, which was just like the kids that had no hope. Do you know what I mean? Like they had no interest in playing sports. And a lot of them were obese. A lot of them, one kid ended up being trans. You know what I mean? That's the group we're dealing with here. But Group 2 is what a lot of you are doing. Because there was always, we used to see this all the time. Like we would finish our session and we'd walk past Group 2. And there were like 2 or 3 kids in there that had ability, they were good, and they were just dominating. Do you know what I mean? They were just dominating everybody else. They looked like superstars. And we always used to like walk past and you could see them almost double take and look as to like, it was almost like a feeling of being ashamed. I swear to God, I always used to see this where it was like, oh yeah, I'm good and I'm scoring all the goals here, or I'm dominating tennis here, but those guys would smash me. And it was almost just like they knew what was the next level. There was another bracket. And a lot of you guys are doing that. A lot of you guys are looking at life as like, how do I get an easy route? How do I cheat? How do I go and get cheap house prices? Where do I go and get no tax and stuff like that? And it's like, yeah, but when you move to these places, it's also full of weak-minded people who have gone, how do I escape? You don't fucking escape. You win. You win here. What you end up being is a big fish in a small pond. Whereas what I've always wanted is to be the killer in the hardest place to be the killer. I think, you look at some MMA training camps. There's like 7 world champions in there. And then there's like a top dog amongst all those champions. That's what I want to be. I've always wanted to go for it. I've always wanted to challenge myself, push myself as far as I could go. I never wanted to be... I said this recently and somebody reminded me of it who's in 1M House, 1M International, sorry. He said to me when we were at the house, he was like, you made a video years ago on something saying people have versions of things they actually want. This is exactly this, guys. I've been speaking about being in London for years, having this back job, everything. Never settled. Never settled. My business ideas are humongous. Whether you like me or not, my business ideas are humongous, and I have done every single one of them successfully. You look at One M International, it's massive. We don't mention it on the YouTube channel anymore because we might as well just do it behind closed doors with all the people that are genuinely interested rather than have to deal with comments of people who are uneducated. You know, or people who made scam videos, and I invited every single one of them to the house, said free of charge, I'll pay for everything. They all said no. So, you know, that's the end of that. That's over as well. But we don't mention things on YouTube anymore. But we've done every single thing that we ever said we were going to do. That's the mindset I want in life. I want to be the type of killer that goes, I want to be in the best place. I want to be in the expensive gym surrounded by winners. You know, I want to be out there and be seeing people that are better than me every single day. I don't want to be like top dog in a small town and there's like 28 guys that live in that town and you think you're amazing, but then when you actually get out in the real world, you're like, shit, actually, these guys are eating me alive. I'd hate to live like that. Well, to be like king of group 2. That's what you're doing. You're king of the nerds. You're king of group 2. You're king of people that, you know, it just wouldn't satisfy my thirst. You know what I mean? I wouldn't look at that and be like, yeah, I'm the strongest guy in a room of women. It's like, yeah, I'm the toughest man in a room of children. Like, where's the merit in that? I've never seen that as a win. And people go, yeah, but I can move out somewhere like Dubai and save a shit ton of money. You don't really, though. You don't really, because the cost of living is higher, number one, but number two, the opportunities aren't as high. People are like, yeah, the opportunities in Dubai and whatnot. It's not like London and New York. It's not on that level. I don't care what anybody says. It's not on that level. It's good, but it's not on that level. And a lot of the people that are going out there are going to be fake because they've got the same mindset. You think, if you're going out there because you want to save money, you're going out there because you want to give the impression to the world that you're a winner, you're going out there because you want a flashy lifestyle, you're going out there because when you say to people, oh, my life's better out there. Why? I get to sunbathe. Okay. I get to sit on the beach. Okay. I get to swim in the pool. You know, I get to go out and just like sit on a rooftop and just chill with all these beautiful women. It's like everything you just mentioned to me is laziness. Like, I love London in the winter because it's just hustle season. It's just time to work. It's time to get your head down. It's time to just work as hard as possible and just get things done. And it's not easy, but what comes out of that is a champion, in my opinion. I think you look at the MMA gyms, like you're getting beaten up every day by world superstars who hit harder than everybody else. When you come through that, the obstacle is the way, you win. Because I just don't think, you know, what you're going to do, you're going to just fly off to somewhere like Thailand, and you're going to be king of the nerds. You're going to be king of people that barely make any money. You're going to be 6 times richer the second that you land. It's cheat codes, and it's not, you know, I just don't really see the benefit. Unless you're like an MMA fighter or Muay Thai fighter and you're going out there to train because that's where the killers are. I don't really see the benefit of it. You know, people, oh, but the food out there, the food will not be as good as the food here. Like, I went to a Thai restaurant recently and I went to a Korean restaurant recently in Mayfair. Both are Michelin star rated. Some of the best food I've ever tasted in my life. And they always give you the backstory on the restaurant and the chefs and stuff like that. Oh, chef always moved over. Chef started in Thailand, realized how good the food was, came over to pursue his dream or her dream or whatever, ended up, you know, becoming a success. And today we have this establishment. We've got another one down there. So what you're getting is the best of the best. So I use the example of women. You're into beautiful Thai women. The most beautiful Thai women probably live in Tokyo, probably live in Shanghai, probably live in Beijing. You know, I doubt that they're living in Thailand. You know, the best chef in Thailand doesn't live in Thailand. Probably lives in London or New York or something like that, because that's where the money is. So the point I'm making is the best of the best come here. The best of the best go to New York. The people with the real ambition, they go to these places. So I'll give you an example. You look at somebody like Ryan Serhant. Ryan Serhant sells houses, mainly in New York, but all around the world, but mainly in New York. He's got a show called Owning Manhattan, I believe, on Netflix. He's been like a hero of mine for around about 5-6 years. I think this guy is great. I think he ticks every single box. I think he's fantastic. He's in New York, okay, selling houses. If he went to Thailand to find his opportunity to sell houses, okay, what's the most expensive house? Let's say he goes to Colombia. Let's stop shitting on Thailand. Let's say he goes to Colombia because he reckons he can have a better life. The most expensive house he sells is like $1 million, okay? Makes a decent commission off that, maybe makes 50K. Or he sells a house for like 24 million in New York. And he's networking with billionaires and people worth hundreds of millions every single day. And his gym is 10 times better than the one that he'd have in Colombia. His life is 10 times better because he's got restaurants on demand, people around him all the time, sports tickets, you know, you name it, it's there. Okay, 10 million people living there, 10 million tourists a day, access to all these people. That for me is so much better. Okay, and if we're talking about financials, okay, he's walked away with 50K commission. And yeah, in the New York house, yeah, he might get taxed, I don't know, maybe something like 5 million on the earnings that he's had for that year. But he's probably made like 50 million more than he would have in somewhere like Colombia. Do you see what I mean? Like the opportunity, people go, oh, but the cost of living, but the taxes, but the house prices. Yeah, but you don't realize about that as well, is that's the biggest opportunity of your life as a man. This is where we get to the real crux of this video. I had to explain a few things to you first, but this is the opportunity that a lot of you guys aren't seeing in life. And it's that when things are tough, when things are expensive, when they're hard to get, if you get them, you win, and you win big. So I'll give you two examples. If there's a beautiful woman out there and somebody says, mate, she doesn't sleep with anybody, she doesn't give anybody a chance, she's never slept with a guy in her life, she's waiting until marriage, wouldn't even bother, it's difficult. I'd be like, that's music to my ears, because if I'm the one man that lands her, she's mine for life. I'm like, she's the biggest catch, what are you talking about? Mate, you're going to end up spending thousands, you're going to be dating her for like 2 years before she's convinced. Yes, I want that. Let me take on that challenge. I'm not trying to fly out to some middle of nowhere country and just get laid the immediate moment I land. Like, otherwise I'm just like everybody else. I don't want what everyone else has got. You think in London, for example, and this is a really good example. The average price of a house in London to rent is 2,300 per month. Now, if you haven't rented before, what you have to qualify for a certain amount. So that 2,300, you have to times that by 12 and then 2.5. There's other ways to do it, but that's an easy way. And that will give you a figure of what you have to be earning per year to qualify to actually be able to rent a house. So they won't even give it to you unless you don't qualify. So that number is 69,000, okay? If you search in the UK how many people are making £69,000 or above, okay, it's around about 4%. If you search how many people under 40 are making that money, it's around about 3%. So here's your opportunity. If you were living in London, you managed to actually grind and actually get to a higher level, and you were okay with the work rate that it's going to take, and you're suffering and you're sacrificing like I have for years, and I put every penny back in. Like I could have extra millions in the bank right now that I don't have because I put every penny back in. And if you're willing to do that and you're willing to go through the grind and actually create a real business, and everybody who buys my supplements comes back and goes, what the fuck, you were right, these are insane. Everybody who's bought my trench coat, that I've shown them images of what's coming, I went back to the drawing boards and redid it, sent them the new images and went, that's better, right? They were like, wow, like you've improved it so much. We do this with everything. Don't mess around. If you're willing to do that and actually build brand instead of selling a 997 course to, you know, to children basically who don't know any different, which I think is disgusting. If you're willing to do that and you become top dog and you're actually able to afford something like this apartment, for example, nobody else can afford it. Nobody else can afford it. You're talking about 3% of people under 40 years old. So what do you then have? You have something that nobody else has. That's the name of and game of life, to have stuff that nobody else has, to have a certain level of life setup that nobody else has. If you were the only guy in the world with muscles, you know, you're going to stand out like crazy. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger built his whole career off having muscles, became a movie star, because nobody really had them back then. Rarity is king. And so, like, here's your opportunity, okay? The average model, and like I keep going back to women because I know guys can understand it, and it's something that we can all measure. But the average model makes less than 60,000 per year. Okay, on average it's about 40. Like really good ones that got a lot of work make about 60. So they can't actually afford to have a house like this on their own. Okay, so when you have one, you have what I call one-upmanship. When you have one-upmanship and you have something that other people aspire to have, you win. So if you're willing to put that work in and stand out, if you want to be an outlier in a New York or you want to be an outlier in a London, you win big, you win massive. Because you'll have some model that's making 50,000 per year. She can't get approved for a nice place. Do you know what they do? Because, like, I just say it as it is. I date these girls, right? And do you know what they do? They house share. with their friends. They find a sponsor. They turn to OnlyFans, but they have sponsors. They have guys in their 50s who are married, who are paying their bills. It's the only option they have, or they house share. I know girls that are models that are house sharing with 4 or 5 other girls. It has to be done. They're in education, they're in university, and they're like renting with 4 or 5 other people. Because that's life. That's life. Whereas when we're in Granada, there's beautiful women everywhere walking around with fat, normal guys wearing just like hoodie and jeans and stuff like that, because the level is so much lower. And it's like everybody can compete. The level of lifestyle that you need is so low that nobody really needs one-upmanship. Nobody really needs to have anything. It's like, he's a nice guy and we go for a walk and stuff like that. But when you actually have a level that you need to reach, and it's hard to reach, it's a weapon for men. It's a weapon. It's one of the only things that we can have in our favor. Like, oh, it took me 10 years to strive from 22 to 32, and I had to work my bollocks off, and I'm tired, and I got some gray hairs in the process. Yeah, but look what you've accomplished. Look what you've achieved. You've done something that nobody else can do, which is the real 1%. There is no top 1% in somewhere like Thailand, because everybody can get it. Do you know, like I saw Patrick Bet-David video recently where he said 30,000 per year dollars puts you in the top 1% globally, but that in the US and the UK would put you nowhere, right? So if you can compete at that level, and everybody comes here, that's what I'm saying. You've got all the most beautiful women in the world that come to one place. You've got all the best chefs that come to one place. You've got all the actors, movie stars, they all gravitate to 3 or 4 different places. You have that on repeat. What's your favorite thing? What is it? Fashion. Okay, all the best fashion places are here. Furniture designers, guess where they are? They're here, they're New York. They're not sat in Paraguay right now, stitching some shit together. Like, they go, okay, I'm successful, I'm doing well, I'm moving to a major place. And oh, but you're gonna have to pay more tax. Yeah, but I'm also gonna earn 100 times more. There's more opportunities, more connections. I need to be there. That's where, that's where this sort of industry thrives. Like, this is what people do. And if you don't see that opportunity of like, it's really difficult, but if you make it, everything is then yours. Instead of shying away and being like, oh, it's tough, it's expensive, the UK's raining, it's wet, it's windy. Okay, but that just allows you to stand out even more. If it's a nice sunny day, anybody can stand out. It's easy. Anybody can just stroll around and have a nice time. If it's pissing down with rain, and because London's so expensive, I'm one of the only people that has a car, I can be like, hey, I'll come pick you up. It gives you stuff. You don't have to sit on the tube. You don't have to sit on the bus and stuff like that. You've got a car, a really nice car. It could be like a big 4x4 and you're driving around London, you're nice and warm, you put the heaters on. You've got the type of money that can get you into amazing restaurants that most people can't afford. That gives you dating opportunities that other guys can't have. That gives you, for example, if I wanted to have a meeting in this house right now with this setup that we had, and it was somebody that I really wanted to do business with and really wanted to network with, they're going to walk in here and go, wow, that's really impressive. And it just gives you extra shit. It gives you extra leverage. And when you do it in an expensive place, it's the biggest opportunity and nobody's seeing it. Everyone's fleeing and going to beaches and just sunbathing all day. And it's like, I don't understand that. You do that when you're 40, 50, 60 years old. You don't do it in your 20s and 30s. You move to a major melting pot and you test yourself and you say, this is where the best of the best are. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do. The amount of people, if you go to these like sunny places, most of these people are scammers. Most of these people are full of shit. Most of these people are just trying to get a quick win in a year, trying to sell a course, put $1 million in the bank, buy a house, bounce, get some fake teeth. That's quite literally what they're all trying to do. You're surrounding yourself with those individuals. If you're going, oh, I want to go to somewhere because it looks nice and there's green Lamborghinis everywhere, and all the women have got fake boobs and fake lips, I want to move there. That's who you're surrounding yourself with. People you meet here would be like, this guy knows 5 languages. This woman, has a job that's 200K per year. She's one of the top dogs in the country. Like, that's who I want to surround myself with. That's who I want, like, the mother of my children to be. I don't want to go to some place where everyone's moved there because it's flashy and they want a nice lifestyle. I want to go somewhere where people are willing to work for it. I want to go somewhere where there's winners. I want to go somewhere where there's people who are the top people in their fields and they've worked very hard to get to that position in life and it's taken them maybe 5, 10 years to do so. I want to go to a place where everything's happening. I promise you guys, everyone's got it backwards, and I don't know whether it's propaganda, I don't know what's going on, But, you know, people say, oh, high taxes and stuff like that. You don't have to pay yourself the whole amount. Like, it's insane. You don't have to pay yourself the whole amount. But the high taxes is basically, and look, I've got a problem with them. I wish they were lower, and there's ways around it. But, like, it's almost a premium that you pay to be in the best places in the world. London's been voted the best city in the world for about 6 years running. And everyone goes, oh, who's decided on this vote? This is horseshit. It's not. When you actually live here, and look, here's the thing. If you're making £2 per month, it's the worst place in the world. I've done it. It's shit. If you're making good money and you've worked your bollocks off, so I've come back, 5 years later in a substantially better position and gone, okay, now I love it. Now it's amazing. And I still loved it back then. But, you know, now it's like, oh, the opportunities start opening up to you. You can have an amazing life. You know, there's a friend of mine who lives in a very nice area in West, has a Ferrari. His connections are insane. He's got a lovely life. He'll just go out, drive his Ferrari with his missus. They'll go out for food and stuff like that. Like, his life is unbelievable. He has the ability to do that because he's worked his tits off. And it's like, you know, because it's so hard to do here, it elevates you to another level. Oh, a Lamborghini in Dubai, another rented one. Do you know what I mean? But it's London. It's like, mate, this is expensive. You can't sustain this lifestyle for long if you're faking it. That's really, really difficult. So if you do, nobody has what you have. Nobody has what you have. Most people are struggling here. So if you end up getting to an elite level and you're able to offer a lifestyle that nobody else can, guys, that's the biggest advantage possible. You win quicker because there's no competition at the top. In my opinion, you win quicker. You grow quicker. If you end up going somewhere like, you know, you end up going somewhere really cheap. I'm shitting on so many countries. I'm going to have no friends left. But, you know, if you end up going somewhere really cheap, let's say, and you think, like, let's say you go out to Vietnam and you just go, okay, I'm going to go out here. It's going to be really cheap and whatnot. You don't grow as quick. You don't, because it's cheaper. Life's easier. And you go, I only need like 2K a month and I feel rich. You're not going to grow. And then the house that you buy is worth like 60K. So when you sell it, you know, if you ever have to go and move back to any other country, you're like, shit, I'm kind of still broke. Do you know what I mean? But if you manage to toil and finally get a house here, then you go, oh, okay, well, now I'm sat on something that's worth like $1 million and it's only going up in value. And it's some of the most prime real estate in the world. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's just, it puts you on the map on a global scale. Otherwise, you are just cheating yourself, and everyone's fooling themselves, going, oh, if we go here, the opportunity. It's just a market employ. I would never be shocked if places like Dubai, places like China are just paying influencers a shit ton of money to do this. If they're just pushing this narrative out all the time, if they're just, you know, you got to think, and look, I'm not coming across as racist here, but China owned TikTok. Wouldn't it be in their benefit to be like, the UK, get out while you can, the US, get out while you can? And look, China's amazing, places like Tokyo as well in Japan, amazing. Like, these are melting pots. You can definitely go there. But wouldn't it make sense to just rip these places apart? It's wet, it's windy, it's cold and whatnot. That's a benefit. That's a major benefit. Honestly, guys, if you look at the world map, right, they draw a line straight across it with the wealth divide, and then they dip it down to Australia. But Australian mentality is they're British. They were British criminals that got shipped off. Like, that's how Australia pretty much began. So when you look at it, there's a mindset difference. But here's the thing. Hot countries are broke. People go, oh, it's rain, it's whatever. It's a lot of it's work ethic. I don't want to work in the sun. When it's hot, when it's sunny, I don't want to work. I've been telling you guys for years, self-improvement September. 7-8 months of cold, wet wind where you can just lock in. You can just work your balls off. You know, I'm sat here now, there's nothing else to do. What am I going to do? You know, whereas if I was in somewhere like sunny Dubai right now, I might be looking out the window going, oh, I want to go and enjoy myself. I want to go down the beach, I want to do a bit of surfing and whatnot. But when you're here, you're like, I might as well just lock in and work. There's no accident that, you know, the movie industry is in California and real business is done in New York. There's no accident on that, okay? You know, the American dream is a little bit different because America's mindset is killer. But New York is the place where like New York and London are two places where a lot of money gets made. Okay, the weather's a big reason. Weather's a big reason. When it comes to financials, when it comes to building businesses, work ethic, stuff like that, you want it to be cold. It's hard to work when it's boiling hot. You know, it's probably, you know, aircon's changed the game, but pre-aircon, all the richest places in the world were cold places. And it's just it's a work ethic thing. People are just like, right, I'm going to lock in, I'm going to work, I'm going to set my sights on this, I'm going to make it happen. And then when you do, the reward is 10x. The reward is 10x because people go, oh, but I've lost my tan. Okay, but if you've got enough money and you set your life up in a great way, that's another benefit again, because you're living in London and you say to a beautiful woman, hey, would you like to come on holiday with me? Yeah, I would. Nobody else can offer that. Another plus point, another bonus. You can say to your family, hey, I've booked a family trip. You could say to your friends, hey, we're all going to shoot off. We're going to go away. It just gives you these bonus points of one-upmanship that nobody else can offer. But if you're already in the warm place with the beach and the sun and whatnot, any fat, lazy, broke guy can offer the same thing. It's just that he can just go, hey, walk down the beach. You want the high level of competition to bring the best out of you. You want a tough environment, because if you succeed in the tough environment, you can succeed anywhere. You end up becoming top dog of somewhere where most people are struggling. If you live somewhere where it's really warm and everybody's a billionaire, like a Dubai and stuff like that, or millionaire, I just don't really get the benefit of that. Everyone's there to do the same thing. Everyone's there to social climb. Everyone's there to like fuck you over and stuff like that and try and take your money, and they're all bitching about you behind. That's not for me, man. It's not for me. Would I buy a 1MI location there in the future? Maybe. But live there permanently? Probably not. You know, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot more benefits to being in these massive melting pots. Now, is Dubai a melting pot? Yeah. But everyone's just fleeing out there for tax purposes and stuff like that. But I don't think their businesses are growing. Do you know what I mean? I don't think if you want to do a real business. Now, if you're just looking to sell a 997 course online and you just want to sit there and fake a lifestyle, yeah, go there. That's the place. That's the place to do it, because there's enough idiots out there that will buy your shit. If you're trying to build a real business, contacts, a real life, meet a top level woman, that's not the place, guys. And you're seeing all this media out there right now and you think you have to flee. You don't at all. You don't at all. Every opportunity is here. Every opportunity is in places like this, in New York, in these major melting pots. This is where the winning is done. This is where the best people are. This is where the highest level of competition in terms of like fierceness is. This is where, like, if you open a store and 10 people open a store on your street, it's war. It's all like war. You know, you're all competing against each other. I like that. When I'm in the gym, there's like, I was doing 54 kg dumbbell press the other day, and the guy next to me was like, he was doing like 40s, and he started creeping up his weights, and he could only get like 1 rep out, but you could see he was angry. He was way bigger than me. You could see he was angry. He was like, I don't know if he was on steroids or what, but he was probably thinking, how the fuck is he outlifting me? I like that mindset though. It's competition. I appreciated it. You could see he kept looking and he was going up in the weights, and you know, he was really trying to push it, and he was ego lifting for 1 rep and stuff like that on like 48. And I was just like, what are you doing, sort of thing. But I like the level of competition. I like the fact you have to stay on your toes. I like the fact that people try and outdress each other. Like, you can't work hard in shorts and t-shirt. I don't care what anybody says. I'm loving these swivel chairs, by the way. But you can't work hard in shorts and t-shirt. You can't. I can't. I like it when I'm dressed in like nice warm clothes. I like it when I have to put on like a proper outfit. Do you know what I mean? Like trousers, shoes, and I'm not just sat there in shorts and sandals going, yeah, I just do 2 hours on my laptop. These are the types of people that you meet in these places. Yeah, I just kind of wanted like to work 4 hours per week. Huh? You just kind of wanted to work 4 hours per week? Get the fuck out of my way. I don't want to live in the same place as somebody like you. 4 hours per week, you lazy little cunt. I don't like using that word too much anymore, but that brings it out of me. I just want to work. I just kind of want a lifestyle where I'm like kind of part-time. I work 4 or 5 hours per week, and then the rest of the time, like, I don't know, I'm just down the beach surfing and shit like that. Like, no. No. Like, I don't want to be around that. I want to be around people that are trying to get to the top. And those sort of people, they all congregate together in these places, and they're all faking it. They're all faking it. You know, like, what is the point of going, okay, but the rent prices are so cheap, the house prices are so cheap, if nobody decent lives there? If everybody who lives there just wants to sit on the beach and do mushrooms? For me, I just don't see it. Yeah, but my quality of life. I just don't get it though, but what life? Because once you've sat, like anybody who's ever been on holiday, right? You do a week. Amazing, I want you to stay longer. You do 10 days and you go, yeah, I'm glad I came home. You do 2 weeks and you go, fuck me, I just want to leave now. I'm sick of this now. And then people go, I liked it, but I couldn't live there. Like, I love Granada. When we go out to Granada House, I love chilling with the guys, stuff like that. I love it. Couldn't live there permanently. For like a week or two, it's amazing. You know, but then you get bored. You go, I've been to every restaurant. I've done everything. I've seen everybody. I've caught up with all my friends and stuff like that. We've done everything we needed to do. Like, get me back now. get me back. And when I get back to the UK, I'm like, oh, thank God, let's go. Let's lock in, let's work. There's 10 million fucking people here. There's 10 million tourists a day. There's about 1,000 new restaurants opening every single week. Like, let's go. Let's go. Let's make something happen. There's about 12 major sports teams here. It's just like, there's so much to do all the time. Everything's on your doorstep. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't sleep. I couldn't be like 4 p.m. on a Sunday and all the shops are closed. And it's like, what do I do? Oh, we just walk around. I'd be like, cool, for a week. What about next week? Oh, we just walk around. Like, I think people have got this vision of how good it's going to be, and it's like, it's not like that, man. It's not like that. Like, all the people who are going out to these areas are going out for the same reasons you're going out, because it's cheaper. So it's like the best of the best. The guys that are here in those buildings behind me, the CEOs of all these big companies and stuff like that, the people you actually want to be associated with, they're not leaving here. They might have holiday homes, but they're not leaving here. This is where the big money is. This is where the big wages are. Oh, I've got to pay higher tax. Yeah, but when you're paying higher tax on like a 10x salary, doesn't make a dent. Doesn't make a dent. And what else is here? The best accountants, the best lawyers, the best. You're surrounded by the best everything. It's like you've got either top tier life, and you can either sink or swim, or you can flee and run off somewhere that's cheap. And I just want to get away from the rain. It's like, you're not made for the tough lifestyle, man. You're not made for it. You're not built for it. Like, that for me is a weak mindset, and everyone who's going there is a little bit weaker. Now, if you're going out there because that's your dream life, that's different. If you just want to go out there and you genuinely just want to chill on the beach and you're happy to do that, but don't go out to these places and try and fool me on like, you know, this is where winning is done. Like, I've come out here because I want to be a top level man. And then you start telling people you're a top level guy as a 1% man and shit like that. But I go online and there's no tax records. There's no filings every single year. Nobody can see your company history. Every single company has been dissolved every year since you began, like 4 years ago. You keep doing it every year before taxes are owed, and then you jet it out to Dubai, and it's just like, mate, you're just a glorified scammer. You're just a glorified con man. So, and that's the people you're meeting out there. People who went out there for the same thing. So everyone's got this amazing vision, but I promise you guys, it's not. All the winning is done in places like New York and London, but it's expensive. Hustle then. Try harder. Make it work. Yeah, but I'm living month to month. My life's shit. That's the name of the game. I lived month to month for years, but you just put all the money back into the business. You sacrifice. I used to walk to work for an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. I used to then go to the gym for an hour when I got to work, then work for like 12 hours a day for shit money, and know that I was walking back home to be broke. But every time I got home, I would work on something. I would make something happen. I was researching crypto like crazy. Because if you do survive, like I said, nobody does, because you're playing life on expert level, on the hardest level. So when you make it here, you win big. Like, you win big, and the rewards are fucking huge. But whereas when you play the game on easy mode, your rewards and the wins, they're tiny. They don't really exist. It's like, what are you winning? You're winning more walks on the beach. Yeah, you can sunbathe for an extra 4 hours a day. Like, that's the people that are going there. The people who have that mindset. It's not a better life, I promise you. I can save money. Yeah, you could save money if you just want to kind of trickle some funds. Do you know what I mean? But if you want to win on a big scale, if you want to get to the elite level, if you want to go head to head with the best guys, there's guys that work in finance here that are probably doing, I don't know, $250,000 a year, 6'4", jacked out of their mind. I mean, I've seen them in the gym, well-spoken, deep voice, you know, in great shape, dressed well. They come out in like a $3,000 suit out of the gym, and you're like, oh, okay, like, I'm competing with that guy. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you really sharp, but people are like, you know, if I go and live in like Korea, all the guys are like 5'6", so that's a win for me. And it's like, what is that mindset, man? I don't get that mindset. It's like, just compete with the big dogs. Like they say, what's that thing? Everyone's a gangster until a real gangster walks in the room. That's literally what you're doing. I'm a gangster in my small town with 12 people. I'm the tallest in the group and I'm the toughest. Yeah, I have 12 fucking people. You went to a small village school and I'm the fastest in my school. That's the mentality you've got. You know, come to London, see what happens. Go to New York, see what happens. You know, try and be the top dog. You know, you go on a night out in your local town in the UK and you drop £200. because you're on 50K a year and you drop £200 and you're the man in your group of friends. And you're like, yeah, you know, I'm doing well for myself. You come out here, it's going to cost you £200 to get in certain buildings. And some people, oh, I don't want that and whatever. Yeah, fair enough, I get that. But don't shy away. Don't think you're something you're not. Don't act as the big fish in the small ponds, because I just find that embarrassing. And people try and pretend, they try and live, like I said at the start, and this is what this whole video is about, people have versions of things that they actually want. They scale down, they settle. They meet a woman who's a straight 10 at school, and oh, she's my dream woman. She rejects him. He goes for an 8. She rejects him. He gets with a 6. She cheats on him. Eventually, he's just married to some fat 4, and it's a woman that he doesn't want, and he tries to justify it and goes, yeah, but she's a lovely woman, she's got great personality. The beautiful women are horrible. And you're like, you just have a version of something. You have a version of something that you actually wanted. He ends up driving a car that's worth 10K. Nothing wrong with that, but the car he really wants is worth 80K. Now, which is better? None. Either's fine. But don't, you know, if you know you want something, you know you want to get to a certain level, there's a certain lifestyle you're trying to portray, and then you're pissed off at the world and you have to flee. You have to go to some like tiny little country to get to act like that, to act that you're some like high level guy. Oh, I'm top 1%. Yeah, you're top 1% on easy mode. You're not top 1% on the expert level. You're on legendary or anything like that. Like, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself. All those people in these places are lying to themselves. They're living a version of a life that they actually want. And if they could do it, they would be in a New York or London. Like, I don't think there's one person alive who wouldn't, if they had, let's say they had 100 million in the bank, they wouldn't buy a property in one of those places and just have like the most ridiculous house you've ever seen. You know, if it wouldn't be there, maybe it's Tokyo or something like that, but it would be a major city that's expensive as fuck. But people have versions of things. That to me is called settling. And that is the mindset that you get with the people in these areas. And people who say, oh, the UK's failing, the UK's done, America's done, get out of the US while you can, get out of the UK while you can. No, it's because it's not like that at all. You know who stays? Tough people. Winners stay. Winners make it work. And long term, it pays off. The benefits are tenfold. And you can't fake this shit. You can't fake this shit. What there is here is longevity. What there is here is way more opportunities. That's, you know, the best of the best are here. That's who you're competing with. You're literally, you know, it's steel on steel. Whereas when you go out to some of these places, you're running around with like a floppy rubber dildo and pretending it's a sword. I find it embarrassing. I really do. Like, people are living versions of lives that they actually want. So that's a different take on something that's been out there at the moment. You have to leave. You don't have to leave. Believe me, you don't have to leave. Like, if you want to get to the top, you need the challenge. You need to push yourself. You need to get to the point where you go, I'm living, fuck, this is tough. This is really tough. Like, I need to grow up. I need to mature overnight here, because this is the big leagues. And if I don't make it here, I'm fucked. Like, you see sports athletes, they go to a top team, they either sink or swim. And people go, he was so good at the smaller team. Yeah. You can't do it at the top level because the competition is fierce. The intensity is next level. You either sink or swim. You either go on to, you're either Cristiano Ronaldo that moves from Lisbon to United and then Real Madrid and becomes the second best player of all time in a lot of people's opinions, you know, and wins the Ballon d'Or multiple times. And some people think he's the greatest player of all time. But you become the most famous person on the planet because you have that mindset. Or, you know, you stay in Lisbon and you crush that league. And you can't do anything. Like, there's a lot of players that have come out of that league, gone to the big leagues, and they just crumble. You look at somebody like Jack Grealish. Can't handle the top level. He can't handle the pressure. He's going out drinking every single night of the week. He can't handle it. He got the big wages and went, oh, that'll do. Somebody like Ronaldo, he gets the big wages, he's still locked in. He wants to be the best. He wants to keep going. There's levels. There's levels to the game. Some people aren't built for it. And I think what a lot of people are shying away, a lot of people are doing is running away because it's tough, because it's expensive. That's your greatest weapon, because it's tough and expensive. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. So if you're the only one that does it, guess what? You win. And you win big. And you win amongst winners. And you win with the most beautiful women in the world being in this city or New York or whatever. And now, you know, you have things that they require to survive. They're not just like sat on a beach or something and just going, this will do. Like, this is a nice little life. I'm comfortable and whatnot. It's like, no, things are tough here. They're looking for a man. They need somebody who's already accomplished what they're trying to achieve, who can offer things that they can't. That's your prize. Top level life, everything. You can have everything you ever want. That's a real top level man, in my opinion. Stop settling for versions of things, guys. It's embarrassing, it's weak minded, and then pretending to live a lifestyle in a certain place while surrounded by other people that have done the same thing. We're all winning together in group 2. Yeah, but these group 1 motherfuckers are laughing at you. It's just my take on it. I mean, I don't think I'm wrong because I'm living it, but if you've got a different view, you do you live your life. That's not what I'm about, but that's my opinion. Speak to you guys soon.